So question 3b is the trace table question for which there are 6 marks, and you should expect to spend significant time on the trace table question, particularly if there are 6 marks available. This is, remember, it's a computational thinking exam, so thinking time is not time sitting around doing nothing. Okay, if you need to be working things out. And I didn't see enough workings out on this question really to demonstrate to me really that there was some thinking going on. I think there was a bit of confusion, which I think probably came from the fact that you hadn't spent the time on the pseudocode in the previous questions. And if you've not seen the videos for the previous questions, so 3A and 3AI and II, then I suggest that you do, because spending a significant amount of time actually looking at the pseudocode, analysing what it means, taking it line by line, and as you go through the pseudocode question, we're now on question B, then you're getting a better understanding of what's going on, rather than because the questions are getting harder. If you getting this far and you still haven't really got a handle on what's going on within the pseudocode, then you're putting yourself at a real disadvantage. So we'll start by reading the question as always. Complete the trace table to show execution of lines 21 to 25. So it's just 21 to 25, which is your for loop here. Okay, and I've talked through the for loop before in those previous videos, so go back and have a look at those. We're looking for the fourth week before Christmas. Fourth week before Christmas, really important. When the user enters the value 300. Okay, so the information is there given to us. So when the user enters a value, it will be stored in a variable or an array, and we need to identify where that is. So we need to look back at our pseudocode. And although this trace table is for the for loop, there is no user entry in here. So we do need to look back and see when there is user entry. And it's here on line 10. Receive current count from integer keyboard. In response to the question, please enter the number of stuff. So this is current count. Current count is entered at 300, and so straightforward, we're in, and current count is 300. If you're given some data within a trace table question, the chances are that data is a starting value for something. So next we have to look at the value of I. So we know we're in 21 to 24. I will talk through it again, even though I've done it before in the previous videos. So here we have our for loop. For I from 0 to length of week number minus 1. So I is short for index. It's the position number in the loop. So it's you can think of it as the loop counter, and it will always be an integer, and it's running in this case from 0 to the length of week number minus 1. Week number is our array at line 3. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements in it. So from 0 to length of week number, which is 6, minus 1. So that gives us from 0 to 5. Why minus 1? Because there are 6 elements, and we want the loop to run, is going to run 6 times, because it's going to loop through staff rates, which also has 6 elements. And the computer starts counting at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will give you 6 iterations of the loop. If we went from 0 to length of week number, it would count from 0 to 6, which would give you 7 loops, which means the last loop would give an out of range error message. So we're looking at I. So now then we know I is going to be a whole number. It's a loop. It's an index position in the loop. We're looking at the fourth week. So let's have a look at our fourth week. There is minus 4. 4 weeks to go is there. Position 0, 1, 2. It's in position 2 of our list. Therefore, by the time we're looking at the fourth week, I will be equal to 2. The next one, length week number. Well, we've just looked at that. We know it's got 6 elements in it. It won't change. It stays at 6, so it will be 6 all the way through the loop. So there is that is the answer to 6. Now, percentage. And this is where you need to start doing some working out, okay? And I didn't really see that a few places, but nowhere near enough. So find yourself some space. There's usually plenty of blank pages, etc., or ask for some paper. So percentage is equal to, let's have a look, staff rates I. Well, we know I is 2. So staff rates, let's go back up to our pseudocode. Staff rates in position 2, 0, 1, 2. So it's equal to 115 divided by 100. So the answer to that is, 115 divided by 100 is 1.15. Now, for those of you that don't like the mathsy parts, you should be reassured that although it's a non-calculator paper and you are going to be asked to do some calculations, then they are going to be, dividers by 5 or 10s or 2s. Relatively straightforward in terms of division or multiplication, because it's 9 to 1 paper, and they are testing your thought process rather than particularly your maths. So hopefully you'll find, 115 divided by 100 is relatively straightforward, so you'd be expected to be able to do that at GCSE. 1.15 then. So now we've got to do staff rates I. Well, we've just done staff rates I because actually we went and got staff rates I here. So the answer to that one is 115. And so 115. And so now all we need to do is needed staff. Needed staff. I'm actually going to, you've got to run through this as if you were the program. Needed staff is current count, which is 300, times by percentage, which we've got as 1.15, okay, which actually is 345. So 345. Okay, so 15 times 3, 45. Right, that they were your answers. Those were your 6 marks. And I think what I would have liked to have seen more of is more working out, more thought behind them, because although most of you filled in the tables, often they were quite random, and there wasn't that element of thought. So you have got 2 hours, and all of you have said, oh, it's too long, I don't know why we've got 2 hours, and this is why you have 2 hours, so that you can spend the time actually thinking and working things out. Let's just double check that we got that right. 300, 2, 6, 115, 115, 1.15, 345. Now notice that it does say if the calculation is wrong on line 22, i.e. the percentage, then do award a mark. So if you get this one wrong, but you used your percentage to work out this, you would get needed staff correct, okay? So then they don't want to penalise your maths if your thinking is there, okay? So just take that on board as well. Okay, 3.3b, the trace table question.